ready to step into what else is in front of you, because God's going to give that to you. He's going to fill you up, and you're going to walk out of that time of pause and rest and restoration, filled up, overflowing, so that you can do the things that you need to do.
Hi, and welcome to the Flourish and Health Podcast. My name is Stephanie Book, and I am so glad you are here. My hope is to help others see their life beyond where they currently are right now, move away from places where they feel stuck, and empower them to move into a flourishing life. Together, we will learn to recognize our true identity in Christ and apply a reframed mindset to combat the lies that we've been believing about ourselves. We will walk the journey of flourishing in our health in mind, body, and our connection with God. I'm so excited to walk this journey with you as we create new habits of thinking and turn toward a life that is flourishing.
Hey there, and welcome to the Flourish and Health Podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I am so glad that you are here. This week we are continuing our series on making room for time for things that are important to you, that help you grow, that help make you move into what you want. We're going to focus on rest and creating a Sabbath in your week. Now, I'm not typically one that looks to find rest or stop doing things that I'm wanting to do. I just want to keep going. I could often do things through the night, through the day, and just keep going and going until things are done or till I get to a point where I think it's a good time to stop. So I've had a really bad relationship with resting. I'd feel bad taking time to rest. I would look at rest as almost a weakness. But over time, I've learned how much better I am and how much more productive I am if I do take the time for rest. So we're going to focus on that this week. Now, I know that it seems backwards and doesn't make sense, but it truly does make a difference in your day when you make time for rest. Making or creating time for rest allows you to have more time for self-care. So listen to this. So we're going to look at the biblical concept of Sabbath rest and its significance in fostering your spiritual, emotional, and physical renewal. But we'll look at how principles of the Sabbath can help us find balance, restoration, and deeper intimacy with God, no matter what's coming in at our lives, and learning how all of that brings so much more richness to our lives. In Exodus 20:18, it says, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work." I know what you're thinking. No work? Stephanie, how is that even possible? I have a job, a family, super busy kids, I have committees and clubs I help out with. I have church. I'm running a side hustle. I have no room for anything. I could never, ever take a Sabbath. I totally get where you're coming from. But let's look at the benefits of a Sabbath and the practical things we can do to find rest and renewal, and maybe, hopefully, I'll change your mind a little bit. So, what does creating a Sabbath in your life look like? What does it do for you? I read an article about the Sabbath by Helen Reese, and she shares 8 ways the Sabbath is beneficial for you. So I'm going to briefly share them with you now, kind of give you her point, and then share a little bit of my insight. So I'm going to do this a little bit different. I have a lot of things that I'm trying to say, and I want to make sure that I get it all clear. So I'll probably have a slide up that will show most of the steps that I'm going to give, just so that you can have time to write them down. So almost like a normal, if you've been on a Zoom meeting and I'm sharing my screen, I'm not going to really share my screen, but I'll share, some of the points that that she has given, because I just felt like it was so good. So you might not see my face the whole time, and that's good. So I just want to make sure I can really communicate all of it to you. So I'm going to make sure that, so if you're listening to this, none of this matters to you, because you could have no idea whether I'm looking at something in front of me to make sure I get it all in, or if I'm just speaking, because you don't know the difference. But when you're watching it, you might know. So I just wanted to give you that heads up. So let's jump into it. So number 1, she says, it brings our focus back to God. We can be so wrapped up in our lives that we forget to pause and bring everything back to our purpose here on earth. When we pause and bring our focus back on Him, we get to see all He has done and He's doing in and through our lives. It centers us. It renews our purpose in Him. So that's number 1. Number 2, it brings a source of joy. When we have paused and taken time to see God and recognize all He is doing, we cannot help but be filled with joy. A joyful heart is magnified when we are paused and we're able to smell the roses, as the saying goes. Number 3, it gives you guilt-free rest. I really love this one. You don't need to feel guilty for resting. God designed us to need rest, and He even showed us the examples of rest in Genesis with the creation of the world. God didn't get tired, but He wanted to set an example for us to follow as we work. Number 4, it teaches you to trust God more. When we're obedient and we step into rest, we are surrendering our lives over to Him. This pause will help us to put the reliance on the Lord and not ourselves to do the things we need to get done. Those are air quotes, right? We get the opportunity to rest and allow Him to do the work He has designed us to do. Number 5, it clarifies your identity. You are a child of God first and foremost. We get the opportunity to rest and fully lean on our Creator. We're not what we do, but we are who we are created to be. Oh, that's great. Number 6, it gives you restorative rest you need. What about that? Rest. It gives you rest. Who would have thunk? We need rest, and when we take a Sabbath and focus on rest, we get the restorative properties rest provides and the ability to be and do more because of the strength gained. Number 7, it gives you the ability to rest in Jesus throughout the week. As you set a time for a rest, this rest will be able to carry you through the rest of your week. What a novel thought, right? And number 8, it will strengthen your relationship. I know when I'm tired, I am not a person others want to be around. When we're stressed and we're run down and we're not able to be present for those we love, or may not be the person they want to be around, that can be so not fun to be around. So we want to make sure that our rest is going to be part of our lives so that we can show up for those that we love and we care about the way we want to. So let me review those first before we move on. Number 1, it brings our focus back to God. Number 2, it brings a source of joy. 3, it gives you guilt-free rest. How wonderful. It teaches you to trust God more. That's number 4. Hey, that rhymed. It clarifies your identity. Number 6, it gives you restorative rest you need. Number 7, it gives you the ability to rest in Jesus throughout the week. You get to rely on that rest for the whole rest of the week because you took that time. And number 8, it will strengthen your relationships. Now, one of the things that I really liked about talking about this idea of rest is I know that it was not something that I always do, and I'm still working on this one, I'll be honest. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is typically what's been happening is I'll be writing these podcasts for you and getting excited maybe earlier in the week. And then it would come to the end of the week and it would be Sunday and it wasn't recorded yet, which means it hasn't been recorded, edited, and all of those things. It takes quite a bit to put on a podcast, but I absolutely love the time it takes. However, what's been happening is it comes Sunday, I've had church all morning, maybe I was singing on worship team, and then here I am on Sunday afternoon scrambling to record and do all of the things to get ready to have this ready for you on Monday mornings. So I am trying to learn how to practice my Sabbath, and part of that is finding time to rest. Now, it doesn't have to be this Sunday. But for me, most of the rest of my days are the same. They start very similar. Most of my days start similar, but like Sundays, I'll go to church rather than go to the gym or do my workout right away. And so things are a little bit different for me on Sunday. And Sunday afternoon, like later in the day, I like to take the time to plan for my week. But what's been happening is I haven't been giving that time for me because I'm in scrambling, trying to get these podcasts in. So I made it a goal for myself this week to get ahead and have a couple of them recorded. And so it's nice because I'll be able to have my podcast recorded for you and be able to still take that time on Sunday afternoon to rest and restore and look ahead to what's next and spend some extra time with my family or whatever comes my way. So I am sharing this with you because it's something that I know I need, that time of that rest and restorative time, that time of reflection and not always on the go. Okay. So as we practice the Sabbath, we can do 4 steps that I read in an article by Reclaim Today. Because I'm learning in this, I have grabbed from a lot of different places and sources for this episode because I'm still learning about how to practice a healthy Sabbath. But I loved this article, and I loved how they kind of gave a way to remember how to take the Sabbath with 4 different words: stop, delight, rest, and worship. And I just love those. So I love the way that they use this about the explanation of how to take a Sabbath. And so I thought, I'm going to share these with you because I love them and I'd like to implement them in my life. So number 1 is to stop. Stop doing the things that bring you stress and rob you of your peace. What are you doing in your day-to-day that you can let go for a day and release it? You can let go and just not have to do the things you need to do for a day. This could be answering emails or text messages, those things that call our attention, or the stress of social media and that comparison that comes as you look and other people having their Sabbath or having a productive day that you are not having. I'm not saying you have to put away your phone or not check your social media, but if this is an area that brings you stress or comparison or guilt, stop doing it. Find ways to stop doing the things that bring you stress and away from the Lord. Because I know that so many of those things that we use day to day can totally bring us away from our focus on God. So number 2 is delight. What are the things that bring you delight? What do you not make time for every day that restore your soul? Take time to do things you love. I heard on a podcast that by John Acuff, and he said, it was 12 words, I think, or something like that, that would change your life. And it was stop doing the things you like and do the things that you love, or something in that order. Are you taking time to do the things that you love? Now, he was talking more about productivity and, working towards the goals and the things that are important to you. But I think that would work here too, is, making sure that we're delighting and we're doing things that we love to do. Because I don't know about you, but I will just work and work and work and work and do all those things and not take the time to restore my soul, to do things that I love to do, to pause and step away from the things that draw us away from connection with the Lord and others. So delight in the Lord and be in gratitude for all he has done for you. Find ways to do things or not do things that bring you delight. Number 3 is rest. Okay, here we go. Embrace your natural limitations. Are you tired? Are you weary? Rest. The rest may be sleeping, or it may be withdrawing from stress, and rest is resting your soul. In the Reclaim Today article, they said this about rest. This opportunity to rest gives us space to remember God's good promises, what he has already accomplished for us, and his desires for us that are still to come. We rest so that our life might be restored. That's so great. Our rest will allow our life to maybe be restored, to be filled up. Maybe the rest is just pausing and spending time in his word, just talking to him, reading his Bible, reading a devotional or something that you've been wanting to read over and over again. Maybe it's just spending some time outside. I know as the weather is going to start warming up, I hope it's going to start warming up, I love being able to sit out on my back porch and just take in God's creation, resting, not necessarily sleeping, maybe not doing anything, but just resting, sitting there with a cup of coffee or some iced tea or something, and just taking in the beautiful sky. And I want to look this way because my window is out this way. I'm just looking at all the things that can bring us life. So find that time to rest. And the last one they had was worship. Worship the Lord. Now, you want to draw near to him and take that opportunity to worship him. Praise him for all that he has done and will do in your life. This could be done in prayer, in gratitude, in journaling, singing praise to him, or showing your love and appreciation for him in different ways. Many people think that worship is the time that we sing at church, but it's so much more than that. It's the outward expression of the love and appreciation for the Father for all he has done. We get that opportunity to worship him. Like I said, when we were resting and we're sitting outside, we can take in the beautiful creation that he has in front of us, the birds that are flying by, the squirrels that run across the lawn, like all of that is given to us because God has given that to us. So we get to spend that time in worship, sing praises to him. I mean, I love being able to have music as part of my time of worship because it is so powerful to me. Music is such a wonderful tool to help bring us to worship. But you don't need any of those things if you're just spending time with him, but use that time on your Sabbath. Find that space and time in your week to stop and pause and worship the Lord. Invite him into your day, invite him into your space, and just be with him. So, to summarize everything that I've said, I'll use one more quote from that Reclaim Today. I don't know. I found that article and I just loved it. So I hope it's been encouraging for you today. It says, God gave us the gift of Sabbath as a weekly celebration of human flourishing and limitations, a day to stop, delight, rest, and worship. So my friends, as you approach your week, look for a day or a time where you can pause and create a Sabbath in your week. Set aside the distractions and obligations you feel and draw your attention to the Lord. Do things that bring you joy and peace and spiritual nourishment. Practice mindfulness and gratitude and reflecting on the blessings. Worship him. Thank him for the provisions in your life during the moments of rest and stillness. My friends, I hope that this is encouraging to you and not overwhelming to you, because I want you to be able to find that space and time. And it's so important to do that. I know that our days are busy, but I promise you, as you take time and pause, even if it's just for a few hours, and set that time aside to refill your heart, spend time with him, be in gratitude, worship him, sing some songs, step away from the day-to-day and invite him in, it's worth that time. It will actually give you more time because you'll be rejuvenated, you'll be energized, you'll be ready to step into what else is in front of you, because God's going to give that to you. He's going to fill you up, and you're going to walk out of that time of pause and rest and restoration, filled up, overflowing, so that you can do the things that you need to do. As always, thank you so much for listening, and please pass this on to anyone you think it might encourage. Your loves, your likes, your reviews, I feel funny always talking about that, but that's how this can get spread so we can help other people. So please pass this on to anybody that you think will encourage. Leave a review if you would. I would love that because it would allow me to help others see and hear the things that hopefully will help them and encourage them in their life. Take care and have a wonderful week.
Thank you so much for joining me as we walk towards this life of flourishing. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and would love, love, love for you to take a moment to subscribe to my podcast and maybe even leave a review. Likes and reviews like yours will allow my podcast to be seen by others and hopefully help them as they walk through their own journey of growth. So until next time, please remember that you are amazing, my friend, and you are meant to live a life full and flourishing. Take care.
Hey friends, before you go, I just wanted to jump in to make sure that you know how to stay connected to me so that you can not only hear when my podcasts are coming out, but also if I have some free gifts or other things to share. So please, if you don't already, please follow me on social media. You can find me at come on. Hey friends, I have one more, Hey friends, before you go, I have a few more things I wanted to share with you today. First of all, I want to make sure that you are able to stay connected with me when you know when my next podcast will be dropping, or if I have like a special announcement, or I'm able to give you away some free things. And so I want to make sure that you are connected to me and I get to be connected with you. So you can find me on Instagram at steph.book and follow me there, or you can join our Flourish group on Facebook. That all those links you can find in the show notes of this episode. Also, I have a beautiful Flourishing in Life guide that I created, which has my top 10 tips for starting that flourishing life with some scripture as well. It's a beautiful guide, I must say. I think it's really pretty. So I would love to be able to give that to you for free. So if you have not snagged that yet, please make sure to do that. And then the Who Am I course, I had a challenge a while back that it was really fun for those who were able to engage live with us. However, that course is still available and it is still free. And so I would love to be able to gift you this 5-day course to help you really dive in to that start of understanding who you are in Christ. So that will also be in the show notes so that you can take part of that if you like. I share lots of different things, and I have other things in the show notes that you can take part of, like your Wear Your Faith clothing line that's just beautiful, and there's always new items that are dropping all the time. And then if you're a business owner, connect with me about Social Connector. It is a wonderful tool that you can use to stay authentic and connect with those customers that you care about, those clients, those people that I know your heart is to serve. And so if you need some help with that, I would love to share more about that as well. I just wanted to make sure that I let you know about a few other opportunities. And again, I put all of that in the show notes. I'm hoping to start sharing some more things, maybe some book reviews on my YouTube channel, or maybe even some demos of some different cooking things that I'm making. So I really just want to invite you to be part of my life. And so please follow me there, and I would love to follow you back. So thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your support every week, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care.